Welcome to
BamBam-O-Rama, BamBam-O-Rama, BamBam-O-Rama.
Welcome to BamBam-O-Rama. I'm Jackson Grist,
My name's Adrian Estrada.
and today we're more like the Two Bears guys
How so?
because I ran a 10K and Bert Kreischer runs marathons. And they're basically the same thing.
I don't think that.
Yeah, they're basically the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Don't do the math.
I didn't sign up for this, to be honest with you guys. So
You didn't sign up for a 10K?
no, for the lies.
What's the difference? I ran a 10K in an hour and a half, and most people run a marathon in 2.5 hours or around there. So yeah, it's the same thing.
And that's why Cody won.
I did want to say that on this episode, you did a really good job of calling WrestleMania.
I did a lot of calls, right? I did a
Um,
lot of good ones on there.
I think I was reviewing it. I was reviewing it earlier this morning, and I was like, Adrian called. Yeah, most of it. I think the only one you got wrong was Seth Rollins. I think you had Seth Rollins retaining, right?
I believe that I would have called Seth Rollins retaining, thinking about it. I don't remember what I did, but just thinking about it, I think I would have.
I mean, I think anyone would.
But I
think
want to say that I also missed. Oh my God, it was from night one. What happened night one?
Night one was kicked off with Becky and Rhea.
I called that for sure. Like everybody knew Mommy was keeping that, right?
Yeah, Mommy's keeping that. Oh, what else happened night one? Jimmy and Jay. But you had Jay on that
I
one.
for sure called Jay. Like they can't keep doing that to that dude.
There was the tag match. Was it the tag match?
Well, yes and no. That one counts because all I said was I just want R-Truth to win,
Yeah.
and he did.
I didn't know they were splitting the belts.
Yeah, me either. But
I don't. And
that's when I say yes and no. It's a win.
I don't think we knew that when we were calling that, but I'm not sure.
I don't remember hearing about it.
There was the 6-woman tag match, but that wasn't announced when we did our thing yet with Jade and Naomi and everybody.
Yeah, I guess it was the Rollins match was the only one I really think I. Oh, and Logan Paul. I called KO.
Oh, you did call KO. Logan retained, right?
Correct.
I thought both of those titles were going to be retained.
I was like, I know I missed another one, but it was. But yeah, that's the one.
I'm really surprised at how many titles changed hands.
Yeah, some of the headlines was this is Triple H's claim to he's in charge now, and I agree. I think that if you watch that documentary that's already been made about this,
Yeah.
which is hilarious to me, because that's just so ridiculous.
I mean, when you got a team of cameras, like
Yeah, but the Rock's a better actor than he is an actor, if that makes sense. Like the clip I saw of that documentary, he sounds like he's backpedaling a lot.
maybe they do. I mean, they kind of made it confusing, right? I mean, I do believe that it was. I do believe that things were going as we expected them to, like,
Yeah.
or not as we expect, as we were seeing them. We saw Cody win the Rumble, then 2 weeks later we saw The Rock come out and basically be like, "No, it's my main event," and everyone's like, "Then why even have the Rumble?" And then, so Triple H and The Rock were like, "Hey, listen to the audience. Maybe we should do this." Like, I really think we witnessed all of this happen in front of us.
When did the Rumble happen? Like what month?
January.
Right. So
Yeah.
in the documentary preview, they were like January 1st, we're talking about this. So I guess we're referring to the Rumble. Then they're like, at some point, Triple H flashes up and he's like, 80% of this was plotted by October.
But he said that for like WrestleMania. So like that's
Right.
not like the whole card, right?
But that's still part of it, right? Like,
That's still part of it, yeah.
I mean, it's part of the conversation at least.
And I mean, yeah.
So I wonder how long The Rock had been planning to come back and do a thing or all of that.
A question too.
Got to watch that documentary.
Gotta watch it. You were saying that it was this is Triple H's mark on,
Yeah.
like, this is the start of his era, kind of. And I feel like I don't know. I feel like I might have put words in your mouth right there.
No, that's what they were saying.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel that because I look at it and I'm like, he moved a lot of championships on his first WrestleMania. And I feel like that is saying we're having a hard reset from
Any of the McMahon vision.
Yeah. This is now mine.
Well, and it's also anything that he was doing, you have to assume it to some level was plotted in the deviant nature that he was in, you know? So any champions have got to be under investigation, regardless of when, who, and what.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
So
yeah.
Roman's got to go under investigation, in my opinion.
I think a lot of the people that
Regardless of who, what, when, where, you just got to do it for your due diligence, even if it's just to clear their names. And that's part of it too. Like, nobody should be worried about those words
no.
if they haven't done anything. You know what I mean? So everybody goes under their hopefully a third party investigation, you know, but that's not going to happen. What's the name of the owning company?
TKO.
TKO. I always forget that for some. I always want to say TMZ, like the gossip group.
Right.
TKO. So, you know, TKO might have their own internal thing going on about it. Who knows?
They might.
But they might not. And that's the shame. Is like, even if they do have one, if it's only internal, that's shameful because that means that they're still going to do their best to. And I'm not saying cancel everybody either. Not. People make mistakes and it needs to be investigated and assessed appropriately.
No, absolutely.
You also don't need to lose your job immediately for making a mistake, depending on what it is.
No, I think maybe a suspension until things are found out. I can understand that. But yeah, being fired, like...
Well, I mean, that's probably what happened to Brock, right?
I would imagine.
It's kind of like you're suspended.
Yeah, while they
you're
investigate.
released.
Which I'm also really confused because so supposedly, like during the suspension, they had taken Brock off of like the history and like off of like certain parts of the WWE website,
Mm-hmm.
and then he came back, and then there was a rumor, or now he's back on the website,
Right.
and then there was a rumor that he was going to show up to an episode of Raw, which I don't think he did. Because especially if he had showed up to an episode of Raw, then he would have been at Mania. So I'm still confused as what...
Is that always a given?
I mean, he's just that big of a name.
Oh, I see.
You know?
Like, why would you waste it on just a Raw if you could have him at Mania cleared?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Is they were planning on it, but then somebody from TKO might have been like, well, we still haven't.
Yeah, we still haven't finished.
Or vice versa.
Yeah, it could be.
Who knows?
Brock could also be like, well, I got accused of these things, and now I'm pissed off. Which I don't know. Those text messages seem pretty definite.
And for the record, though, I don't think everybody should be airing their dirty laundry either. Like, I only think that things when it comes to like potential criminal in nature should be allowed third party investigation.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, I don't think if like someone is caught, you know, I mean, I think stealing is one of those that can be kept internally if you don't want it to be, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to like sexual predators and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
that one's one I think you got to be a little bit more open about.
I think so too. I agree. Unfortunately.
Yeah, because I mean, that's not something that if you only do it internally, you don't do anything, then any job that doesn't see that on a legal record of any sort, then that person might end up doing it to someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
Like,
one of the things.
yeah, you might like them and want to protect them, but fuck that.
Yeah. That's why in the teacher world, they'll take your license away,
Yeah, fuck yeah.
which they should.
Yeah, absolutely. I
don't
had no
need-
question about that.
Yeah.
Of course, that's what
No,
happens.
no one else should be going to it. That teacher should not be going to another school if that's what they're...
But it was very exciting. I was very happy to see a lot of the turnout, even though I don't like Logan Paul, and I would have rather have seen KO win just because I understand why, especially if it is Triple H's stamp on it. Logan Paul is Triple H's stamp on WWE in a lot of ways.
I feel that.
He's like new blood that only came around kind of through Triple H, it feels like, at least in his shifting in regime.
Mm-hmm.
In that phase, and yeah, it makes sense to keep a big promoter on top.
I mean, also you
They'd
gotta
like him.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what got a big spread of what Logan Paul brings to the table. Every time he's got
YouTubers.
at the pay-per-view, yeah. At the pay-per-view, he's got the guy in the Prime suit. It's always a different YouTuber. So there's
Yeah, I
a
mean,
potential YouTube child, my son,
yeah,
like who might spend 5 minutes watching this WrestleMania because
yeah, he's way more interested in it now.
yeah, because Logan Paul brought one of his friends or just reached out to help a guy, which honestly I think as much as I disliked Logan Paul in the past, kind of like what he's doing right now.
Yeah, it's
I kinda
fine.
do, yeah.
There was a little bit of cheese in the like bringing out the truck with the explosions.
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I get why they can't like let him have water or even like a projectile, but it's still kind of dumb. Could have done something else.
Right.
But also, I get why he wants to do it. So it's like give and take. You gotta. You're in wrestling. It's not like it's serious. Well, super serious entirely world.
Right. I don't take wrestling serious, and I know some people do. I remember nicest gentleman I ever met, but I remember talking in line after when I went and saw Revolution 20. I don't remember what year. But we went across the street. There was a gas station there, and I was talking to some guy, and he was like, "Who's your favorite wrestler?" And I said, "Orange Cassidy was." Because Orange Cassidy, he was at the time, and
Yeah.
Orange Cassidy is hilarious.
He's pretty funny.
He's good and he's hilarious. And the guy looked at me and he goes, "Orange Cassidy is not championship material."
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, okay, like, but he makes it fun. And to me, like, that's what wrestling is. It's obviously pre-planned outcomes. And I think the funnier and the goofier you can be with it without it getting corny, the better.
I mean, yeah. Like, kind of thinking about all of them. Danhausen sometimes gives me a little bit of the cringe, but then he does some cool ass shit like he did with the Sting, farewell matches, or episode, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what to call it. I'm sorry. What do I call that? Ceremony. Hanging of boots, whatever. Anyway,
Are you talking about
his retirement.
You're
match?
not talking about Danhausen. You're talking about
Yeah.
No, you're talking about
Oh yeah. That's not the same guy?
no. Darby Allin.
Darby Allin.
Yeah.
See, that's how bad I am about. But I like
That's okay.
watching those
That's
guys,
okay.
Yeah. But so when I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking about I'm mixing them too. Danhausen gives me the cringe.
He is a little. I don't know. I love Danhausen, but yeah, I can see the cringe. But he does it well. He does it goofy.
But it's just that fringe of it.
Yeah,
I will be honest. It's not like I'm like, fuck that dude. But I'm just like, I'm a little, okay, man.
right.
And part of it is, in general, you have to. I mean, he's embracing this, what he weighs 300 pounds, right?
Yeah, that's my favorite thing. He's billed as he weighs 300 pounds. He obviously doesn't.
And it's clearly why he's popular.
Yeah.
Like there's some appeal in whatever amount, percentage of fans of AEW, WWE / wrestling fans, whatever the greater mass is called. Is there a greater wrestling fandom? Just wrestling fans?
I guess just wrestling fans. I mean,
Because there's Mania Universe, or not Mania, WWE Universe.
there's the WWE universe. That's kind of what WWE calls their fan.
Mhm.
I feel like. I mean, I don't know. I'm just a wrestling fan. I think most people are just wrestling fans. But then everyone gets super tribalistic about it lately, and they're like WWE versus AEW.
What would the AEW fans be called? The Koopa Cons, man.
Con. You can't call them the elites because that's a stable in AEW. Well,
Oh, I know
it
what
used
the
to be a stable.
WWE fans would call them.
What?
Elite Sheeps. Man, then the Elite Sheeps over there,
Elite
man.
Sheeps.
They think they're
Elite
all
Sheeps.
better than everyone.
That's good. Elite sheep.
You can just call them the Jaguars and let's just get it.
Right? Get them calling the Jaguars. I'm still ready for the Jaguars to become the London Rippers.
Is that really a plan for them to go to London, right? But the Rippers, that would be hilarious.
I mean, that's what you would rename it to, wouldn't you?
I would. That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
I mean, I've always thought, so many people thought that Mr. Khan himself was planning on moving to the Jaguars to London. I think he's just waiting on I think you're just waiting on the NFL to put the international stamp on it, and I think he's 2 seasons away from doing it
Yeah. Yeah. I really can't wait for that to happen either.
for real.
I think AEW fans, because it's All Elite Wrestling is what it stands for.
Yeah, All Elite. Yeah.
But then there's the Elite.
So yeah, which is also kind of corny because Kenny Omega
They started
and the
it,
Young
right?
Bucks are vice presidents, and they helped start the company. Cody Rhodes also helped start that company.
Is that right?
He was the president of AEW, and he stepped down as president when as a wrestler he became a free agent. He stepped down as president because he was like, I don't know if I'm going to be returning to my company.
Interesting.
Well, part of it was he decided he wanted to be a world champion, and when he was president of AEW, he made it a point to not be the world champion
At his own company.
At his own company.
Yeah. I get that a lot.
Yeah, I respect that a
Yeah.
lot. And when he decided, he was like, I want another accolade to my story, which he finished.
So he might come back to AEW someday.
There's potential that he could one day. Yeah.
Like soon, even.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It could be
There's a small chance he could be like, okay, that's it. Here you go, guys. Here's it back, Roman.
right.
Here's the belt back. We're going back home.
Yeah.
Some people are like that, you know?
Some people are like that. I'd be surprised if he did that, but yeah,
Yeah, that would be too.
they could.
Be crazy. You think there's a chance Paul Heyman might ever do or be something bigger again?
If he was to start his own promotion, I feel like
I guess that's not the right way to say that, is it? Bigger,
right. That's a tough one.
independent, I suppose.
Because I think he's in charge of so much of creative at WWE that I feel like he's got the job he wants without the pressure of running the company.
Like he just gets to have fun.
Yeah, he's just like, we're doing this storyline, and I'm your acolyte, or what is it? What does he call himself? I said acolyte. I don't think that's even a real word. Acolyte. What does he say? Does he say acolyte? I am.
That's a proper term to be of an aid to someone in sorts, like
Maybe
an
that's what it
advisor of
is.
sort. Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. But yeah, like I don't know, he's just having fun, giving good storylines. Like I said, no pressure of running a company. Like you don't have to worry about, is this going to tank because you're playing with someone else's money.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, that's what they say a smart businessman is someone who plays with other person's money.
Yeah. Now, I think if Paul Heyman was to retire from WWE and decide he wanted to get back into the game of starting a promotion, I think he would be very much taken aback. I don't think he'd be an on-screen persona like he was with ECW. I don't think he'd be doing as much as he is now. But honestly, I think he's where he's at. I think he's where he's happy.
Yeah. I mean, he seems ecstatic. The lines of acting with him, that's what makes me happy about
Dude,
that.
he's so good.
I would love to see him in something big.
I would too. Maybe that's what he does if he retires.
Let's try to write a script and see if we can get Paul Heyman.
I would love. Oh my god.
He doesn't have the best what is the proper word, dictation, I guess. Like sometimes he does like a real flat, but then right whenever you feel like it's almost a bad acting, he really goes, and like it's purposeful. That's why I'm not saying it's a negative thing. Like he does it, like you can see it, and then he just like ramps into like this emotion. Like it's just like, this guy's incredible.
Yep. God, I love me some Paul Heyman.
I can't even think of like the words that he says, but he's just thrilling.
Right? I see a lot of people today talking shit about, well, now we don't have Roman. You guys are going to be sick of Cody soon. And my question is, who's Paul Heyman going to manage now? Is he, I mean, I'm sure there's still more of the Roman Reigns story. We're going to see him for a couple more months before he goes away and does a reset to probably do a face turn, I would imagine. Paul Heyman always manages heels, so that means that'll be the end of that. So my question is, who's the next one? Is it CM Punk? He used to be a CM Punk manager.
Oh, really?
Honestly, it'd be a good move.
Yeah.
For both of them.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre, maybe.
That's what I was thinking is actually, so like Drew McIntyre or Well, let me ask you this before I go into it. What
Okay.
about tag teams? Does he ever do that?
I don't. That's a good question. I don't. In my recollection, I don't think he has, but he could.
Maybe that's something he might just end up dabbling in just because he can.
I was wondering about that because I mean the quick default to Roman leaves is him taking on Solo and Jimmy and making that a tag team.
Hmm.
But I feel like, when Roman goes home to take care of what he needs to, get ready for his face turn, I think he's done. I think that's just the end of the bloodline story. I don't think you
Yeah.
have. And if there's any continuation of that, it is Jimmy and Solo as a tag team. But I don't think it's still not the bloodline. It's just
That might be what they're called, maybe.
maybe. I don't think you would have Heyman manage that if he was to manage a tag team. Well, the problem with that, and I hope this changes with Triple H, is WWE for the longest time has not given the tag team divisions the respect it should.
Hmm.
I think it's great that New Day and the Usos have been like 8-time champions. I think maybe one or two of them might have a couple more. One or two of them. But, that's about it.
Yeah.
Everyone else has a tag team champion. It's like, yeah, that happened for a while.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that'll change with all this.
I hope so.
And maybe Heyman moving to one of them is part of it.
I think that would be a good move. I think it would be.
Yeah.
Some people have called for New Day to make a heel turn. Maybe he could represent the New Day as their heel turn. Although I think a New Day heel turn is a terrible idea. I think you
Who manages Judgment Day?
They're an interesting stable. So that stable was originally short answer, no one. It was originally started by Edge, and Edge was like the leader. Then they kicked Edge out. And now, in my opinion, the New Day or the Judgment Day does not have a leader. Arguments that it's Mommy.
Yeah.
And I'll respect those arguments, but to me, they all kind of feel like they're on an equal plane.
Yeah.
And I really like that about that stable. That's why I don't want it to break up right now. I hope it doesn't. But I think Damian Priest cashing in, becoming the world, this is going to be the start of that end, because he's going to get a big head. They haven't had a leader since they kicked out Edge.
So now he's got a reason to argue with Mommy.
Yeah.
It's like, before, I was nobody, but now we're equal. And I've got some things to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I really, even though they didn't really do it the way I was calling, I think that the Mysterio storyline's coming back to a father and son reunion thing sooner than later.
I think so too. I think I'm not done appreciating heel Dom right now, but I do think you're right. I think probably by the next Rumble, so by next January,
Yeah.
I think we'll see that reunion
Or at.
Yeah.
Yeah, because especially with like what you're saying, I think you're right. Like there's a reason for conflict now that he's got a title,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's no manager. Maybe that's it. Maybe Heyman does save them though.
That'd be great. Ooh, that'd be cool.
He's like, I can see that there's discord.
Right. I mean, whatever Heyman does, it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be great. The only thing I never liked was when he represented Brock, but I also never liked the unstoppable force that Brock was. Like, no hate on that dude's an amazing athlete. It's ridiculous. He needs to get his personal life addressed, but I just never liked the character. Like, that kind of stuff isn't fun to me. But like you and I have talked before too, especially with Omos, when you saw Omos got eliminated at the first Rumble, you were like,
not believable.
You were like, that's not believable. But to me, I was like, I guess it wasn't. Like, I didn't think about it that way, because I always see these big guys, and like it takes, someone has to hit him 14 times to knock him down, which I guess is a believable action, but it's not exciting to me. Because I'm like, I don't want to pretend that this guy's fucking immortal.
I mean, in
Just because
reality,
he's that size,
in
but I guess they
reality,
are.
I've seen tiny dudes beat the crap out of huge dudes.
Yeah.
I've seen that in the bar. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I did that. I'm saying I've seen it. So in reality, it's possible. I'm not saying, but it just doesn't look normal. Like, so if it's just like in a movie, you don't just put glasses on someone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or whatever you want to say about the argument. You get it. It's like, don't just do things to do them.
No, that's
like try to give it a little bit of purpose, Oh, like lighting, like they say we're supposed to have a lamp if we have orange light or something,
Right. But I think we should put a little lamp here.
Yeah, we should get a lamp of some sort. Ninja Turtle lamp? No, your son will steal it.
Yeah, he will. But that would be badass.
What about a Lego lamp or something? We'll get a lamp.
Cool.
Well, thank you guys for joining us today on this BuddyCast. Please don't forget that if you get into the comments, good things will happen to you, like karma style or something. And if you click the subscribe button,
the best things happen.
The best things happen.
As always, Adrian invited you in the comments. Please let us know what kind of content you want to see from us if you like this kind of stuff.
And we already have the existing content going. Podcasts on Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are our Twitch streams, and then Thursdays are some of our original content, whether it be scripted or sometimes unscripted, just games.
Yep.
And then, of course, on those podcast Mondays, every other podcast being a guest.
And every other podcast being this one.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoy.
Word to your mother.
Word to your mother. Bye.
Love you guys.
Love y'all.